At that time I was in college, working as an intern in a call center. One day I was at work just minding my own business, mainly answering phone calls and assisting people with daily issues. Everything was fine, just like any other day at work, until I received one particular call. It was a customer that had a problem with his text document. One might believe that everyone learned how to use a computer. Everyone but this guy. After introducing me to his problem, I asked for permission to connect his computer to my company's software. I quickly realized that the antivirus found a potential harmful file in the software's installation path. The antivirus software asked whether to delete or ignore the file, but I didn't want to rush things right away, so I decided to go to the path of the file to see for myself. Once I got there, I found a strange executable with a .txt file next to it named ON_output. It looked like a log file. Increasingly intrigued, I opened the txt file and saw a bunch of letters and numbers, all ending with a .onion. They didn't really mean anything to me at first, but soon after I realized that they could be some sort of links. So I grabbed a piece of paper and while trying to explain to the customer that his computer was infected, I wrote down one of the links. Then I allowed the antivirus to delete the files and made sure that everything else was working properly. Eager to see what that link was, I got home and brushed to my PC. I then put the piece of paper on my desk, opened my browser and started typing in the link. As I finished typing, I pressed enter, but the page kept loading on and on. I typed again and again, but it still kept loading. I was 100% sure that I wrote the link correctly. I had to find out what the thing with that strange .onion was. So I started searching the internet for .onion URLs. I found out that these links are not regular ones and that they are some kind of hidden websites or services that they belong to space called the deep web. Once I read this, I quickly recalled some of my friends chatting about this deep web, but it never caught my attention at that time because I had other interests. I also found out that these links could only be accessed through a software called Thor. I said to myself, interesting, that explains why the page wouldn't load. Searching even deeper, I came across a bunch of sinister cookies and ads warning me about the danger of entering this so-called deep web. Fucked up stuff like child porn, pedophiles, human experiments, hitmen for hire, drugs, and even murder. But I didn't even care about these things. All I was interested in was that stupid link that I wrote down in my office while talking to that odd man. Thor keeps my identity safe and allows me to browse the internet anonymously. What could possibly go wrong? So I downloaded and installed Thor. I was all set up. First, I entered the hidden wiki and explored my new playground a bit. I mostly found porn sites, drugs, and even some gore websites. All of those links had indeed a .onion at the end, but not all of them worked. Some only brought me to just another dead page. After browsing a few more minutes, I opened a new tab and typed in that link. I stumbled upon a black page with some sort of a vintage design. It looked more simple than your usual website. But it was also strange and mysterious at the same time. There were 3 tabs I could click on. I guess I had a choice, so I clicked the second tab. Suddenly, I was being redirected to another website. It took only 5 seconds to bring me to some sort of a chat website. There were different rooms, so I clicked one of them. I was amazed to see that people were actually chatting in there. The weird part is that all of them had the generic username Anonymous, followed by a bunch of numbers. I paid attention to the conversation they were having and realized that they were mostly talking about weapons. What was this website? Some kind of an arms dealer type of website. They seemed to be talking about a scope with some sort of a reticle that allowed shooter to easily line up a shot at distances further than the 0 point. I noticed 2 entry fields just below the chat window. One of the fields was for replying in the chat and the other one had an OK button next to it. Out of pure curiosity, I clicked on the OK button. It gave back an error saying, "Please enter a value." So I entered a random number, 5, and clicked again. In that moment, a message appeared in the chat box saying, "Anonymous 414 issued an order of 5. 2 seconds later, I received a message from a user named Admin saying, "Who are you and who invited you to this website?" Suddenly, my heart started racing. I quickly closed all of the tabs and turned off the computer. I was so disturbed that I stood there just watching my blank monitor, thinking on and on about what happened. The next day, when I returned from work, I opened my browser and instead of the usual google.com homepage, I got a clear white empty page with a black message written in the middle of the screen saying, "Do not return, this is your only warning." And below that, my home address and number. My heart stopped. I couldn't believe my eyes. I was so freaked out. Every webpage that I entered redirected me to this white screen with the message in the middle. I tried everything. Google, YouTube, Facebook. Nothing came up. Just that white screen. I asked a friend about this, and he said that I had a virus and I should format my hard drives. So I formatted my hard drives and installed a fresh copy of Windows. The virus was gone. I was so relieved. Nothing seemed to be out of order anymore. Everything was the way it should be. After about 3 weeks, when I arrived home from work, turned on my computer and noticed a new folder on my desktop with the name Open. That was strange. I was living alone and I couldn't recall creating such folder. I opened it and found a video inside. I double-clicked it and the video started playing. I immediately started to sweat. It was me, as I was entering my home building. That was it. 7 seconds of me entering my building. I was so shocked. I literally didn't know what to do. I called my best friend and explained everything to him. He also freaked out and told me that I should move. So I paid my last month's rent and moved into my new apartment.